Have a resolution to accept the agenda for the May 2nd, 2006 council meeting as amended to include the minutes of the special council meeting held April 28th, 2016. Councillor Wadden, Deputy Reeve Campbell, all in favor? Carried. Moving on to this disclosure of pecuniary interest, if any. Unnoted. Moving to the consent agenda. Councillor Knott.
I have a few items I'd just like to touch on through here, how we'd like to do it, just very quickly.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Okay. 4.2.1 Clerk's Department Report. Are we being requested to investigate further security for the Westcast complex for by the insurance company, or are we just looking at this? Because I don't really see why, although we had our little break-in, that we should be spending more money.
Well, Pat, can you?
Either myself or Richard Al could comment, but it has been recommended from the police services that we install a couple additional cameras. I really would prefer not to tell you where those are going publicly, but absolutely, we are missing some important areas. We already have security cameras, and we're looking at adding a couple of cameras to the system.
Will this give us any break on our insurance costs?
I doubt it. But we're not doing it for those purposes. We go through our security cameras quite often if we have we had the one large break-in, but we do have other reasons that we go through those security cameras for purposes I'm not going to disclose here, but we do that, and they are very valuable resources of information for important police investigations, or just to verify what happened to something, a vandalism, something like that.
Okay, so we're not just reacting to that one situation and putting more cameras. That was my concern. Okay.
Another point?
I got a couple of them here. So I'm bang through them real quick. 4.2.2.2, down to our finance year-to-date report. Once again, I'm going to ask the question Donna I've asked before. Is under previous years total, we've been doing this report for how many years? 2-3 years anyway? 3 years anyhow, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can we not put in the previous year's actual quarterly number as opposed to its total budget number?
For quarterly, we can put in the current year budget, but not the previous year quarter. I can print you off a sample and show you what like a 4/12 looks like.
Well, I'm interested more in comparing the actual quarterly information from 2015 to the current year's quarterly information. And if we did a quarterly report last year, we should have shown that information on our last year's quarterly reports. Why can't we insert that information in here?
Okay, if that's something you would prefer, I can certainly print you a copy like that,
Okay.
based on a quarter.
Yeah, I want to compare actual quarters to actual quarters the previous year. It's more meaningful than the total year.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. 4.2.31. This would be the path through the Reeve. I'm just curious, I see there was an arena board meeting, but I haven't seen any arena board minutes of the meetings. Are those available?
They're available for the November 18th meeting, the April meeting, which we just, or the April meeting, pardon?
No.
You said April.
Sorry, we had a meeting, let me just open up where you are. There was a meeting held on November 18th, 2015. Those minutes we have. The next meeting was held and Councillor Bodden can assist me, on the April 20th date. And I do not believe those minutes are available yet. They're taken by a volunteer secretary. So once those are circulated, they can be made available.
If we could, please. I noted in your report that the airport, we are now going to be subject to burden of the cost of the GPS system. What is that going to actually cost us on an annual basis to maintain that?
So it was mentioned in the feasibility report that that would probably be an outcome of NAV Canada's new policy, which was now formally adopted, and now they've sent out the letters. It's every 5 years you have to have a flyby, and that could cost $5,000 to $10,000 and about a $3,000 annual fee on the other years for maintenance of the GPS approach. So my intent is to take the letter back to the airport committee and discuss the importance or need of the GPS approach. And if we do let it lapse or lose it, it's almost a $30,000 to $40,000 item to renew and get again. So we really need to establish whether it's relevant in order to maintain it, and then it will be added as a budgetary item. So we'd have to hire a third-party consultant company who maintains GPS approaches. That's the only way to do it. But in the past, NAV Canada provided that service for registered aerodromes, and they're no longer doing that.
So potentially we're looking at what, $5,000 a year additional expenses?
Over the 5 year, yeah. Cycle, yes.
Okay. That was the other thing that came to my attention here was the revised 1419 project. And I noticed in here that we have an additional $16,000 in insurance for the township to assume. I just want to clarify that's part of the actual 1419 budget though. And so that does not affect the $500,000 limit that we have established. How is that going to be paid?
I can answer that. Yeah, okay. So I'm just demonstrating here that, yes, the entire project budget now is estimated at the 3.728,762 with the additional expenses not in the original budget and the additional potential cost due to the dollar exchange. And 1419 has always explained that is their fundraising commitment. Our $500,000 does not change. So the $16,000, the $10,000 load in and out expense, the utility expenses are all part of the construction cost and being covered by the project budget. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So that's just for clarity. Absolutely. It is our commitment has not changed.
Okay. Perfect. Can I jump? I have two more quickies for you.
But just a sec, did you?
Yeah, I just want to question, is that 16,000 annually? Like, what is the project, what is it, the premium that's going up?
So during the construction, that asset, that building, because we're turning the entire site over to a construction site, is removed from our property insurance policy. And so a separate policy during the 8 months of construction needs to be purchased to cover the construction insurance, the building contents, all of the building materials, as well as the entire asset if a tornado or something would happen catastrophic. So the 16,000 is an 8-month coverage of building risk insurance policy for that asset during construction.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Want to jump down to 6.4.1? Are we, actually that's past 6, isn't it? So, I'm sorry. Yeah, we only go down to 5.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yep. So that's good. Thank you very much.
So, motion to accept consent agenda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're moving to 6.11. Staff service. Presentation of staff service awards. 5.1. Okay. But for Pat Newsom, Director of Recreation and Facilities, 10 years. Donna White, 15 years for Director of Finance and Treasury. And but Larry Simmons, also at 15 years that he's got here. And this is posthumously. Dawn. And also Don Gross, a recreation operator, for 15 years. So
Looks like a picture.
They're right here.
Oh, we're gonna have to thorn between two roses here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, moving to 6.1.1, site plan application. Laura, do you have some information for us?
Good evening. So this is an application for site plan control for 414 Josephine Street in Wingham, the location of the Maitland River Community Church, who is the owner and applicant. Doug Hyvenhoven has been the contact person and lead for the proposed development, and he's here tonight. It is recommended that the site plan application be approved with the conditions included in the site plan agreement between the township and Maitland River Community Church. The submitted site plan was prepared by GB Architect Inc. and referred to as Plan A1.1, as well as including supporting drawings by GB Architect, including elevations and floor plans as well. So on the screen here, we have the Maitland River Community Church site plan, A1.1, prepared by GB Architect. So it shows the proposed addition to the existing structure. As well, the site plan includes submitted drawings prepared by RJ Burnside and Associates, including the lot grading and drainage plan, as well as the church expansion stormwater management plan. And also submitted drawings prepared by Mighton Engineering for lighting and life safety electrical plans, entitled Plan E1.1. The subject property is designated core commercial in the North Huron official plan and is zoned core commercial special zone, C4-9 in the North Huron zoning bylaw. The -9 for the core commercial recognizes the church and its accessory parking lot as permitted uses in the core commercial area. The applicant is proposing to develop a 697 square meter addition on the north side of the existing building, which is approximately 465 square meters. The new addition would contain a new auditorium, fellowship hall, and multi-purpose rooms. The proposed development has been reviewed by the chief building official and community fire safety officer, as well as been reviewed against the requirements of the North Huron zoning bylaw and has been found to comply. Comments during the review included several items identified to be addressed in the site plan between the township and the Maitland Church, including providing and maintaining the site grading, drainage of surface water, and stormwater management. All surfacing on the land to be complete. All snow to be stored on the subject property and removed from the newly constructed walkway and identified fire routes. All exterior lighting is to be installed to prevent glare on adjacent surrounding properties. The construction of a new walkway to the front entrance of the building. An agreement to be entered for encroachment to be between the Maitland River Church and the township, and as well the relocation of the existing fire hydrant on Josephine Street to the satisfaction of the township. So this here is the proposed floor plan showing the new addition onto the existing building. All proposed changes to the property grading, drainage, and stormwater have been addressed through the RJ Burnside submitted drawings and then reviewed by BM Ross and Associates Limited, and they provided comments on the submitted drawings. So it's recommended that this be to permit the construction of the building addition. So this is the current existing exterior for the Maitland River Community Church, just northwest on Josephine. And this is the proposed new exterior after the new building addition with the new multi-use rooms, the fellowship hall and auditorium, substantially increasing the exterior, or the overall size, and improving the exterior as well. Any questions?
Councillor Syke.
The only question I have is, I see in the today that there is a house that obviously you get to the house through that parking lot.
Yes.
Is any of that going to impact that right of way for that resident? I guess my question.
The right of way has been indicated on the submitted drawing, so that it does. There is access to the house.
Okay.
Yeah. So that if we're looking at suggested resolution, that the council of the Township of North Huron hereby approve the site plan application 414 Josephine Street, Plan 410, park lots 9 and 10, registered plan 22R 3903, parts 5 and 6, registered plan 22R 4107, part 1, registered plan 22R 5714, part 2, Wingham Ward, Township of North Huron, with the following conditions, and then a site plan agreement be entered into. Have you read through the conditions and explained them well enough? You will move,
Also,
and Trevor seconds. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, moving to 6.2.1, the municipal finance asset management. What is your pleasure? To receive the report from the Director of Finance in regard to participation. Councillor Knott,
also,
okay. And Amanda seconds. All in favor? Carried. Okay, 6.3.1, for an Oculus snack bar agreement. just read the motion, or suggest a motion, or, you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I'm in favor, I have no problem, I'll make the motion, whatever, yeah. And probably to Pat, I guess. Do they not serve hot dogs and hamburgers under this agreement? This,
The snack bar outfit there is not set up for any type of food preparation, so everything they do is a prepackaged good, ice cream, freezies, chips, pop, drinks, things like that. There's been times when they've set up a barbecue as part of an event, and they bring a barbecue in for ballpark tournaments or something like that, but that is not what the snack bar on a day-to-day basis is set up for.
okay.
There's no equipment.
I just want to clarify it. That's fine. I'll make the motion. I can see the wrong here.
All in favor? Carried. And 6.3.2, Lincoln Town Hall Theater, and suggested that the council of the Township of North Huron hereby adopt in principle the grant contract between the Ontario Trillium Foundation and the Corporation of the Township of North Huron for $30,000 of funding for the sprinkler system in the Lincoln Town Hall Theater. And further, that clerk is instructed to prepare a bylaw to enter into the grant contract with the Ontario Trillium Foundation for May 16th, 2016 council meeting. You're moving. Linda and James. All in favor? Carried. Moving to 6.4.1. Councillor Knott.
I'll make the motion. I have questions.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Deputy Campbell. Go ahead.
It's unfortunate the fire chief isn't here. I know we had the discussion a while back about the 911 for field laneways, and that we wanted to proceed with getting all of our field laneways in North Huron 911 compliant. When I read through this, is this not a good opportunity for us to now make that a mandatory if someone's looking to put in a new field access, that it becomes mandatory that they proceed to get the 911 designation for that field, that should be included in this bylaw?
But the 911, there's a 911 number for each property, but there may be more than one entranceway, so that it's, as long as there's one 911 number for the property, every entranceway?
Every entranceway.
Now, and that has been standard, when there is a new entrance put in, a new 911 number from that entrance. But this outlines where you can put them, how many you can have in the field. So, but the 911, we can incorporate that in there as well.
Yeah, I just thought it would be a good opportunity to reinforce that if we just had that notation that any new entranceway applies for would have a 911 designation.
Motion on the floor. Further discussion or council?
No question.
Okay. You want me to read it or everybody's read it? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Correspondence. Okay, that brings us up to 7.1, the Barn Dance Historical Society.
I move approval of that request.
Okay, the seconder, Councillor Knott. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. All in favor? Carried. 7.2. I'll read the motion suggested that the council of the township of North Huron approve the request from the Wingham District Kin Club to hold a boot drive road toll on Saturday, June 11th, 2016, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. to raise money for cystic fibrosis and the North Huron Food Share. And further, that the Wingham and District Kin Club provide the township of North Huron with proof of liability insurance. And further, that the county and appropriate emergency services be advised of this event.
Make that motion.
Seconded.
I'll second, but I have a question.
Go ahead.
I know that we don't actually have the location in here, and should we not have a location specified for this? I know where they want to have it, so, on Josephine Street there, but we haven't put anything in here, so that kind of leaves it wide open. I don't think that's correct.
It was one of my questions too, Sharon.
I don't know if you have a specific policy on this that deals with that, Kelly.
Road closure in a certain section, road?
Yeah, or for this type of thing, do we have a policy that talks about, do they have to give us a plan of where the road closure is going to be and what traffic control measures they would be putting in place?
Well, it's not a closure, it's basically a slow down.
Right,
Yeah.
or, yeah, so, but
Yeah.
they still have to have
A location.
traffic control measures and cones and ducks and that sort of thing. We don't have a policy specifically dealing with that. We can certainly work with them on an appropriate location then, and I think it's important that we make sure that they have appropriate safety devices
Yes.
and cones and that sort of thing as well.
Any further discussion? Trevor?
The only other comment I have is that, I know there's other community, not specific to this group's request, but I know there has been other groups that have requested a similar drive. I guess my question is how, I can't remember when those are. You know, I wouldn't want to see one happen and then 3 weeks later another one happen. I guess I don't know what our policy is or if we have one, but I'm a little bit concerned about if we have one and then if we don't have one again until October, maybe that's okay, but if we get another request in 2 or 3 weeks to have another one, what kind of relationship that might have with traffic and you know, it's just an overall concern that I have, not against this. I accept this, but I think that overall we need to be careful of how many we approve in the time frame, because it can be a good nuisance, I guess it is what I think.
We do have a bylaw that outlines the criteria for having a toll road.
Okay.
And they have to be like a registered not-for-profit organization, and it has to come to council for approval before they can have them, so.
Right, but I guess I'm making a general comment on the fact that, you know, if we get another letter here at next council meeting wanting one on June the 18th, that's gonna be 2 weeks in a row that we have this type of event. And I guess I'm okay with it. I just think we need to be cautious of how many times we have a certain event, because that can be frustrating for certain people that come into the municipality or into the town.
Is there anything in the bylaw that stipulates, yeah,
No, but I don't believe there is. But I can circulate the bylaw to council.
Mhm. All in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay. Moving to 8.1, the Reeves activity report. I felt like the greeter this past weekend, attending Habitat for Humanity's annual meeting last Thursday evening went live. And they are still looking for a proper site, hopefully to do a duplex in Blythe this year for Habitat for Humanity. I know that some of the staff have fielded a number of questions, and hopefully we can get things worked out and moving forward on that. Then Saturday morning, the Zone Horticultural Society that I brought greetings to them because Auburn and Godrich were the two that were sharing the meeting. And then yesterday, the C1 Ladies Auxiliary to the Legion had the zone meeting at the Legion of Blythe, and I attended it to bring greetings. And that there's a number of other things moving forward, but it's definitely spring of the year, and but a number of, especially the horticultural projects, are moving forward. So that moving to 8.2, council members. If there's anything, Councilor Ritzman and Inga.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update on the Alice Monroe Festival. It kicks off a month from today, and I'm very excited to announce, which everyone probably has heard already, that Margaret Atwood will be here to kick off the festival, so that's very exciting for us. And we have quite a number of excellent guest authors and speakers coming this year, so it's going to be a great wide range of talents and different authors from across Canada. And our submission rate have for the short story contest has increased this year as well, so that's really great. So very excited.
Over both adults and youth, or?
Yes, yes.
That's very good. That I know that I've followed the number of youth submissions, and it's been gratifying to see them grow.
It's really helped to have Colleen Shank on the committee this year, because she's been able to liaison with the schools to increase that youth submissions and to help with that.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else in Councilor Sink?
Yeah, I just would like to actually bring a good news story from this past weekend. The Building Bridges Committee had their first annual Connections Gala at the Knights Hall on Saturday. I would say it was a shoulder-to-shoulder room. It was filled to capacity, sold out, lots of donations from the community for silent auction, as well as live auction items, but also there was excellent guest speakers or keynote address speakers, Julie Sawchuk, David Gregg, and David, I can't think of his last name, Paralympic gold medalist and a rugby murder ball champion of some type, so obviously it's a great accomplishment from their perspective. So it was a great evening. What I will tell you is that the profit made from that night was $57,000. So that's a great news story for that community. They have worked extraordinarily hard to promote this within the municipality as well as within the community. So I think kudos to them and kudos to the entire committee. I can't take any credit. They've done the work. I'm just grateful to come here and present it to the council that says that what a great evening. And I think my hope is over the next month or two we're going to get another meeting, and I'm going to come back to here to show what progress we're at. Where are we to their goal? So I can present that to the council and give them an update on that overall project. So So congratulations to them.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Moving to 8.3, any requests from members?
Could we just sneak in and ask if I can through to Sharon her little motion?
Yeah,
And where can we get that since we?
so, you had spoke at the last meeting about introducing a notice of motion,
Yes.
and, you said you've emailed it, but I don't have.
I discovered that my IT guy, and it wasn't Richard, so he's off the hook, changed that, was fixing my computer and changed my passwords, and it wasn't sending emails. I found it trapped in the email.
Okay,
So, but it was very simple. The idea is that we offer any of our community groups that have been using the Memorial Hall in Blythe, that they be offered a suitable facility that they can use, and though the cost may be higher if it's a Blythe Community Center, but that we give it to them for the same price they would pay for that facility they were using at Memorial Hall, so that they don't get put out, i.e. the Legion Bingo could not survive paying what they would have to pay for the community hall rate, so.
so if it's okay with you, we do have a little bit of time before we go to construction, so if we get that onto the next agenda,
That would be fun.
make a note to Richard and we'll do that.
My only additional comment, and I really don't know if we get through now that they're getting their Trillium grant, will we be able to use the theater before the end of this year, do you think? Upstairs here?
Before the end of this calendar year, it's probably not. The grant will begin August 1st, and then all the construction begins, and there's still some HVAC outdoor work that would have to be done. So we're really shooting for more of a spring 2017 use of this theater. It'd be great if it happened earlier than that, but in order, I really want, the group is coming to present when their funding will all be in, and they're waiting to hear on a couple of the grants to roll the whole project out. But once we have that, we'll have a construction schedule. But the Trillium grant is project start August 1st.
Councillor Sykes?
Yeah, the only other request that I would have, I would like, if we could, just from the county perspective of an update on the discussion about this, the social services building on, I believe, what road is that? What is the mini mart road? What's that?
Oh, Alfred Street.
Alfred Street. There's a letter sent to, or a request from Agnes, yes, thank you, about what that looked like, and there was a letter come back from the county, but we haven't heard of anything, any development or what their plans are or what, so I would kind of like to see something, at least a response from the county to say, where are we on this, that resolution, I guess.
Okay.
We can request that.
Okay. Councillor Knott?
Okay, one further thing I'd like to bring up is that last year, we actually had progress from county on the fixing of the incongruent speed limits on the Blythe Road heading west of County Road 4 and Blythe Road 55, and that I know the Works Department took that to County Council and got it approved to get that repaired. It's been almost 9 months and nothing has occurred.
The signs haven't arrived yet, is what you're saying?
Well, nothing, absolutely no signs have been done, and I would like to see us send a letter, since we have in 2 weeks, we have our first event happening, which will mean tractors, pardon me, we're not too early for that, but trailers and motorhomes going in and out of that entrance, and it's time we got that fixed and ensure that they make a 500 meter, probably at least a 500 meter buffer so that the speed limit is reduced to 500 meters west of the entrance to the park. Should send a letter and get that clarified. I think it's been far too long.
Yeah, and the last correspondence I had, they were looking into it, but it hasn't. I
It
haven't
went to
received
county, I
it.
know that, because I think Neil will
And it got passed
got
to
passed,
do it.
Okay,
so there's no excuse anymore for it.
so that's another thing we will follow up on.
Okay. Right, are we doing-
Excuse me.
Brock,
I spoke to Mike, I can't think of his last name,
Alcott,
Alcott?
at a meeting last week, and he was surprised that it hadn't been done. So he said he would look into it. And I think it's probably not in his control if they're still waiting for signs.
9 months is an excessive amount of time.
Yeah.
Brenda,
Yes, actually, I have a question for you for Kelly. Just curious, is it possible to have 15-minute parking signs put up in front of the post office to keep that flow of traffic just moving a little bit quicker?
We'll have to change the bylaw.
Would that be a bylaw change?
That was something we had in this.
It was on here and then it was removed.
It was in the bylaw at one time, and then it was taken out after the parking meters came out.
We have to request to have that bylaw. Could we do that, please?
Do a request for action.
I will do that. Thank you.
So we can do that, So request by members. Members shall be permitted a maximum of 3 minutes in each order to make statements which are intended for the purpose of sharing information and to request reports from staff on various issues. A majority vote of council will be required to request reports from staff. So under request by members, you can request a report from staff, and a majority vote of council would allow it or would instruct us to report back on that.
So I'll put that request forward then, please.
Bill seconds. Word of motion, Kathy?
So I think it would be staff, or that the Director of Public Works be requested to report back to council on amending the parking bylaw to include a 15-minute parking time limit in front of the post office.
James,
Does that include live also? Like if it's just the whole municipality, I think both post office should be a part of this.
That would be fine. If that's what live people want.
Well, I'm not sure they want it, but I think it's something that we need to be consistent with.
I'm fine with
It's
that.
totally irrelevant because we have no enforcement of lives, so you can tell them you can't park there, period, you have no enforcement, so.
I don't think it's an issue with life.
Well, it's probably a good idea.
But there's going to be construction going on here very shortly.
I'll go along with the amended motion to include live.
I was just gonna recommend the one in wide, I think we need to consider the theater because during shows, there's quite a few spots which are omitted from parking. And then if we also just north of that add a 15-minute limit to parking, it could be, it's just something that it's completely different scenario.
That could be part of the report though.
Yeah.
Sure,
we
or
would.
have it include like during business hours, so that it's specific to a specific time period. Because if you consider like the anchors are there in the evening after the post office is closed, people would like. So, yeah, just another brief perspective.
Councillor Slade?
Yeah, I'm okay with the staff. I think I'm okay with the staff report, but I'd like to have some type of understanding of what enforcement's gonna be like. Changing the bylaw is fine, to have the 15-minute time limit, but who's gonna enforce it? I think that ultimately becomes the end of the reason why we're gonna change a bylaw. To me, if we're changing a bylaw, how are we going to make sure we're gonna enforce it? And if we're gonna enforce, if we can't enforce it, what's the purpose of changing the bylaw? That has been my argument from the get-go on every bylaw, not just this one, so.
Councillor Vaughan?
I don't think it's a relevant issue for Blythe. Right across the street, there's usually parking available in the municipal parking lot, and we don't have to go far down any number of streets to park. And to put that 15-minute zone in an area where often theater is in and every parking space is extremely valuable, I think would just be a pain in the neck and would never get enforced anyway.
So we should have on Trevor's request for an update on the status of the Huron County project. We should have something about it. So the request an update from staff on the status of the Huron County project. Yeah, we should have that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really a report that he's requesting that requires a significant amount of work, so I mean, it's just direction to staff.
Okay. Okay. So Yolanda's motion is involving only the Wingham Post Office, okay? All in favor of the motion? Carried.
So if I want to go to the post office, Mr. Lee, I come to Wingham then during theater hours in Blythe. If I want to use the post office, because there's no parking in Blythe. Thank you. Mr. Noel, comment?
And
I'll just go off.
Get a box.
okay, we're ready to buy that. So, how do you choose what this is?
We wanted to just, would you like me to speak to it?
Yes.
Okay. So the Director of Public Works did note in his activity report that May 16th to the 20th is Public Works Week. And so we do have a proclamation here declaring that the Township of North Huron is declaring that Public Works Week, and it makes some comments about the contribution of Public Works to the community. And so we're asking council's permission for the Reeve to sign this proclamation to proclaim Public Works Week.
I make that motion.
There are 30 seconds. You want to hear it? Or just take that it's a normal proclamation? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Bylaws now. Moving to 10.1, bylaw number 45, 2016. This is a bylaw for the purposes of levying and collecting rates for various purposes and provide for payment of taxes and to provide for penalty and interest. So that the bylaw number 45, 2016, being a bylaw for the purposes of levying and collecting rates for various purposes and provide for payment of taxes and to provide for penalty and interest, be introduced read a first and second time. Councillor Sipe, Deputy Reeve Campbell, all in favor? And the bylaw number 45, being a bylaw for the purposes of levying and collecting rates for various purposes. And I'm not, there it is. And provide for the payment of taxes and to provide for penalty and interest be read a third and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Vaughan, Councillor Knott, all in favor? Carried. And bylaw 46, 2016, being a bylaw to appoint Jeffrey H. Mullenhouse as the Director of Public Works for the Township of North Huron. The bylaw number 46, 2016, being a bylaw to appoint Jeffrey H. Mullenhouse as the Director of Public Works for the Township of North Huron, be introduced, read a first and second time.
So
Councillor Vaughan and Councillor Ritzman-Taninga. All in favor? And that bylaw 46, 2016, being a bylaw to appoint Jeffrey H. Mullenhouse as the Director of Public Works for the Township of North Huron, be read a third and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Deputy Reeve Campbell and Councillor Sipe, all in favor? Carried. And bylaw number 47, 2016. Being a bylaw to authorize the Reeve clerk to execute corporate seal to enter into 2-year pilot project for a shared services agreement with the municipality of Morris Turnbull. We're moving first and second, Bill. And Deputy Reeve Campbell seconding. All in favor? Carried. And the bylaw 47, 2016, for shared services, be read a third and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Vaughan and Councillor Ritzman-Taninga, all in favor? Carried. And the bylaw number 48, 2016, being a bylaw to authorize the Reeve clerk to sign on behalf of council a land use agreement for the purpose of a Wingham Farmers Market between the Corporation of the Township of North Huron and the Wingham Farmers Market Committee, be introduced, read a first and second time. Deputy Reeve and Councillor Ritzman-Taninga. Question, Bill?
Probably, I guess, to Pat through yourself, part of this bylaw, and unfortunately I didn't really quickly find it, states that here we go. This is on page 1, under site condition. Space provided allows for maximum of 10 vendors, which is all fine and dandy, but it says shall comply with the following. The statement can't be set up for each vendor will be roof only, no sides. I find that a lot of these vendors do have advertising material on a back side, so to tell them that they can't put that up after they've spent hundreds of dollars on making these booths look good, I'd like to see that taken out of there. And then right below that is no setup will penetrate the ground for any purposes. These tents are not very, shall we say, wind friendly. And having been a vendor, I own 3 of these setups myself, having traveled to fairs and festivals for many years throughout southwestern Ontario. They must be affixed to the ground. The slightest breeze can cause them to go up in the air, and they can then cause harm. If we forbid them from actually affixing them to the ground so that wind cannot take them away, we may have potential liability there. So I'd like to see that amended to say that they can allow them to affix them to the ground in such a manner that will cause no damage, but if the tents are secured.
Pat?
So these are the same conditions that they agreed upon to last year, and they're actually their standard agreements with their vendors. So with the no penetrations, we had that conversation because we were moving from the concrete or the paved to the grass. However, Kirkshank Park has some underground water lines and hydro. They have no problem with this, and they have weighted canopies and such to ensure that they are staying in sight, and that is part of the agreement as well, how they are set up. And as far as the roofs only, that is their agreement, and I believe that's also to improve the wind aspect. That they don't have sides, that it makes it more like a kite, I guess you could say. But I could make these amendments, but these bullets were of no concern to the farmers market executive committee, and they enforced these last year, and we had no issues.
If they wish to enforce them themselves on the farmers and then fight with them, I'd let them fight, but I personally would rather see that taken out of there. And I understand when it was down here, that there was good reason, and in most cases, if you're on pavement, nobody lets you penetrate your asphalt. But because it is grass, there's, better opportunity in most cases. They don't penetrate the ground very far. Water and hydro are not an issue.
I guess we just don't want to have a situation where we're doing locates for each week, and they're fine with this. So I would prefer not to go back and amend it again since we're so close to the date they're starting.
Locates.
Pardon?
Nobody does locates. They're only talking 9-inch spikes. I've never seen a locate done in a park for a festival or event anywhere. Okay. Unless it's somebody like Conklin Shows, which is a whole different ballgame. So I would just as soon see us take it out, and if the farmer's market wishes to make that a requirement of their agreement, that's fine.
Well, the bylaws on the table as it is, and we have
It was in last meeting already for discussion.
Seconder.
Yeah.
So if we are going to amend it, we would have some direction to council, from council to take it back and amend it. And are you saying that's going to affect your timelines with them as to when they're starting?
Well, I believe that there was concern last time when this was brought up that they were starting to advertise already when this agreement had not been put in place yet. And they are starting to advertise, as I'm under the impression that June is their start week, early in June. I guess, in my opinion, we can adjust this. However, if they're in compliant and have no issue, and we prefer that these as staff stay in, that'll be my recommendation. I could go back and meet with them. And if we wanted to do an amendment, we could do it after the fact. I don't know if that's possible, Sharon, but if it really is something that during the summer we're finding that they really do need to penetrate the ground for securing their tents, then we can come back. But the entire agreement is bigger than these two bullets, in my opinion.
And you feel if you made these amendments, you would have to go back and review that with them and amend the bylaw and come back again. Would you be okay with passing the bylaw as is and discussing these potential amendments
That would
with
be
them?
fine. That would be
If we feel it's necessary.
Okay. Motion on the floor?
So we're moving as written?
Yes.
Yes. It's just all in favor.
Yeah, it's
All in favor? Carried. That was first and second. Okay. Third reading of that. That's what committee up, that's it. All in favor? Carried. announcements?
I'd like to read a comment on the latest recognitions given to our community newspaper, The Citizen. The Community Newspaper Association has named The Citizen as the best community newspaper in Canada for its circulation class in 3 categories: general excellence, best front page, and best editorial page. And since that, The Citizen has also received bronze plaques from the Ontario Community Newspaper Association for general excellence and for its community website. The Citizen could not have a more appropriate name. It has all the earmarks of a good citizen. It is owned by local citizen shareholders. Its employees are local citizens. Like any good citizen, it supports the community by keeping people informed what is happening in the truth, by acknowledging achievements, by commenting on internal and external dangers which might threaten us. The Citizen continues to inform us of our current events. In the process, it is writing our story as the events occur and preserving our history for future generations. When Keith and Jill came to Blythe, we got more than an excellent community newspaper. We got 2 people who hold up a mirror to this community, helping us to realize that we are better than we realized. Keith has very quietly slipped words into our vocabulary, words which have both inspired us and given us goals to strive for. 2 examples: the Blythe Idea Group, when we really need to look at big ideas at the beginning of the amalgamation process. The other phrase is rural talking to rural, a more recent phrase, which becomes more and more significant the more we think about it. So congratulations to The Citizen, and thanks for being such a great citizen for Blythe, Brussels, North Huron, Huron East, and for your contribution to all of Huron County. Thank you.
Okay, point number 12, any other business? Okay. Moved point 13, and that we do have an in-camera that will deal with personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee, the shared services staff reporting, and a proposed or pending acquisition or disposal of land by the corporation.
Who are we going to count?
That's with Dominga. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll have a short recess.